Hi, my name is Richard Jolley. I was asked to do an interview as an educational background for my work in the Knoxville Museum. One of the reasons I chose to be an artist is to try to do something positive, but that was not in a political content or context. But I view trying to become an artist as a time where you make this conscientious effort. What do you want to do with your life? You know, do you want to be a lawyer or a doctor? And for myself, I chose to try to be an artist. And I made this decision probably halfway through college. I went to a small liberal arts school, Tusculum College in Greenville, Tennessee. It's interesting because it was named after a summer palace of a Roman emperor. And then later I graduated from Peabody in Nashville, and in one of the green spaces adjacent to the campus was a replica of the Parthenon. And so I don't know whether this is one of the impetus for having an interest in classical work. I think a lot of it is I chose to talk about the human condition, and therefore figurative work it involves that narrative, or who are we, why are we here, where are we going, sort of that who, what, and why question. Basically, I had gone to, was raised in East Tennessee, in Oak Ridge, and when I got out of school, I think with most artists you have several alternatives. A lot of people say, well, you have to go to New York because that's where you should go to become an artist. And at the same time, in reading biographies about people like Robert Washington, Jackson Pollock, as soon as they made a reputation, they moved out of New York. So I think one of my goals was to try to be an artist without having to live in New York. Not that I don't show in New York, not that I don't love New York, but definitely a lot of work, press is wielded from the center of the art capital of the United States, which is New York. I think if you are involved in an art as an artist, you always want to try to show your work in a variety of areas. As a general comment, you feel lucky if people somehow align visually with what you're doing. So you end up having a sort of a mixed format of work where you have a variety of collectors who get involved in being interested in you. And it's really sort of a three-tier situation of sort of artists, collectors, and museums. And so with that, you end up having your work in collections, have shows at galleries, which is sort of the bridge between the artist and the collector, or the bridge between the gallery and the museum. And then most of the time, the bridge is between the collector to the museum as far as donations and funding. So I think that's sort of the simple triad of the art world. So one of the things that made me try to go into figurative bent with my work is that I was raised in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. That was a center for abstract thinking. And at the time, being young, I wanted to have something that I felt more anchored in the earth or in the ground. And to me, this abstraction was already so well defined in science and almost more pure than a lot of the abstract art that was being made. I wanted to go more in a figurative direction. I think when you're a young artist, you struggle with, what am I going to do? What is my voice? What do I want to talk about? And I think it's very important to kind of come to grips with that. I mean, as I referenced earlier to the fugitives and the agrarians, one of the things that they talked about was a sense of place. And so I think as you evolve about a sense of place, I think for myself, art that is made from a primary experience usually is much more interesting than art that is made solely as a technical exercise. I think the older you get, you want to think of yourself as a intuitive, creative genius. I think when you're younger, you struggle about things in a much more formalized way. I'm always working on multiple projects at the same time, and we had visited the Metropolitan Museum of Art a couple years ago, and there was a small Menard show. And there was a little cue card of writing about how he worked, and he said he worked on a multiplicity of projects at the same time, as well as his work was not really a literal or a photographic rendition of an image. It was a evoked emotion. And I think this fairly well sizes up my work as far as the way I work. As far as the specific images that I'm making, I think they sort of vary as far as how they affect my what's going on in my personal life, and then you sort of rehash it, whether it's related to travel or other things. So in a sense of being figurative, there's a little bit of a genre art quality to my work, so it is sort of about my little human condition. I think as an artist, you sort of look at your studio as a respite of sort of your world from all the other outside worlds. So it's a place that you can work and kind of develop ideas. And for myself, I think each day in the studio is different. Although there's a certain amount of formatting that goes on. One day we'll start out working on projects. I think when you first get involved in using glass as a material, you make these small little things, and then the next day you open up the annealer, and then you look at it and say, oh, this is great. And so now, as I've become more advanced, a lot of projects, I had shown you some still lifes in the upper building, but we have been working on the components for those pieces for about the past 4 months. So, and needless to say, as an artist, you're not solely always making art. This morning I got up and I'm looking at a rental space, so I went over and met with somebody. I made some phone calls, about security systems. Some days you work on your taxes. Other days you're doing things. So it's not there. I think with being an artist, the more successful you are, that it's much more than just going out and making your painting or doing your drawing. I have a tendency to be a workaholic, so other than when we're traveling, I have a tendency to work a majority of the time. I've tried to not work my average 80 hours a week, which I did when I was a little bit younger, but I still log in quite a few hours in the studio, which I enjoy. Right now, as far as to oversimplify the way the studio works, is we're mixing and melting our glass from raw materials. So glass itself is approximately 2/3 sand and 1/3 fluxes and stabilizers. So the glass that we are melting is somewhat akin to window glass, only it's a little bit more exotic, a little bit low iron content, which gives it a little bit different luminosity. And so once we mix our glass, we turn our furnace to 2300 degrees Fahrenheit approximately, and we put this granular powder in, and then it fuses into a glassy state over a period of the day. Then we turn the furnace down to approximately 2000 degrees Fahrenheit, and that is the point where our glass is ready to work. And so with that, your glass is always in this molten condition, so it's about the consistency of honey, if you wish. And I think that's one of the appealing things to me that still appeals to me almost 40 years later, from when I was introduced to glass as a student in 1971, that, actually I guess it is 40 years, is that you're able to make something from nothing. You sort of have this primordial ooze, and with these simplistic tools, you're able to make these elegant objects. And I think that's also reflects back to when we talk about the human condition. I think my work is very much developed by the touch of the hand, and I want that to be a very important part of the way I look at making my work. The more experience you get, you're very cautious about a lot of things, but I think a lot of people look at glass as being dangerous and heat being dangerous, but as you become more skilled, it's easy to avoid, most industrial situations. If you're talking about general safety issues, one of the things which occurs is dust. With all, whether you talk about the textile industry. So when we're working on specific projects, we use state-of-the-art HEPA respirators, positive air flows. My father, being a research scientist, very much talked with me about those safety issues. And I think also if you talk about the heat, one of the things you don't want to do in the studio if you're working is to wear spandex or polyester. So all cotton has a tendency, so that will not, if you have a lot of radiant heat, it will not melt onto your skin. So there are a lot of things that you do like that to protect yourself. The issue of having small burns or small cuts are very, very common on one level, but it's I think overall you try to be extremely safe, and rarely do you have any industrial hazards that occur. We do a couple programs right now where students come out to the school. One, Jennifer Willard, who developed the Community School for the Arts. We have a group of their students come out each year. Recently, there is, and I think I'll dialogue it wrong, it's some sort of a magnet school, but that may be incorrect, but the Beaumont School. Recently, this past spring, we did a design and make where the students did drawings, and then when they came out to the studio, then we made pieces that related to their drawings, and then these third graders also helped out a little bit as far as a little bit of the making process. And then as far as being a little bit more formalized in teaching, I will teach at various places. This past year I gave a workshop at Southern Illinois University, so there are a number of universities around the country that have glass programs, so I usually do one or two a year, or you get an opportunity to teach at what I call exotic arts summer camps, say in Scotland or Turkey or various other places around the world. So it's, I guess, one of the more interesting residencies that I did was over in Australia a number of years ago. But there are a variety of things that you can teach to, I think it's important to give back as far as, if you go back to the role of education and sort of showing ideas and a stimulator, trying to stimulate thought. These short-term workshops are a very good way to have an infusion of ideas. Our studio is basically fairly small. We have 4 employees that work for us that have a glass background. 3 of them have a glass background from various colleges around the country. And we melt 2 crucible furnaces at the time, which are 6 colors, and so we have 3 crucibles in each furnace. And probably a total composite of that is approximately a total of 500 pounds of glass, which we melt either once a week. And when you tell people 500 pounds, everybody goes, wow. And then years ago, we have a friend who used to be one of the vice presidents at Corning Glass Works, and where they're pouring all their optical glass, before you hit noon on the day that they're pouring ingots of glass, they've already gone through like 20 or 40, 50 tons of glass. And so when you look at it in that context, it's very small. But it in the sense of the handcrafting and the hand working that we do, 500 pounds gives us enough glass to work for either 3 or 4 days, 2 or 3 days, or up to 2 weeks, depending on the scale of pieces. And I think in working on work, you try to be very conscientious about your usage of poundage, because that is cost related to however much poundage of glass you melt. It's relative to your fuel bills and some of those things. So I think as you become more mature, you try to be very conscientious about